Hello everybody, my name is Dave Taylor. I'm the product manager for Renewaire for HVAC Solutions, division of TEC. And I'd like to cover today a selection and a savings program that Renewaire has on their website. You can find their website at renewaire.com, like you see on my screen. Let me start by just going to the home screen. And if I'm on the home screen, what I do is I come over here to ERV Calc. And I click on ERV Calc. Now, what you've got up here is a link where it says click on ERV Calc. What you do, you can click on that. And this screen pops up. Now, you would click on Create a New Account. If you forgot your password, you click on this. I'm going to log in using my name here and my password. So I'm going to log on to the website now. Now, there's a few things up in the menu. Log out, you know what that is. I'll cover projects. I'll cover quick calcs. But you might want to start with just putting in your weather data. And you go down and you'd select your state and your city, and then it pulls up the summer cooling and winter heating conditions for you. You can always change them a little later on. It'll also pull up some heating and cooling degree days for you too. The other items, you can change your password, edit your profile. You know, those are pretty universal as far as all different websites. So if you just want to do a performance of a ERV, you would click on Quick Calcs. And here you would see several different things that I've created, but if I wanted to do another one, I'd create new Quick Calcs. And you could put in your general descriptions over here, your engineering firm, your company name, all the different things that would appear on the printout. And what you would do here is you would put in just some of your design conditions, like your fresh air flow rate, your external static pressure, your exhaust air flow rate, your summer and winter design. And you can see, since I picked Chicago and O'Hare, I have my summer and winter design conditions. You can always change them if you like. Now, first thing you do is you put in your CFM. If I put in 1500, you see I have certain options right here. Now, all these, they're HE models. The X is a plate heat exchanger. The IN is indoor, H is horizontal, V is vertical, XRT is a rooftop. Here's Rooftop Connect, which means it's on the same curve, and it's a little easier for you to price in and connect. Now, you see I have certain choices. If I put in 6,000 CFM, I'd have different choices. So it doesn't select the unit for you, because at 6,000 CFM, all these different ones will take care of the 6,000 CFM for you. These CA and PA, there are just modules that you can build to account for any CFM. They do not have exhaust or supply fans though. So depending on what you put in, you can choose different ones. Let's just use 3,000 CFM. That's a pretty common one here. So now you can see I have different choices, and the cores themselves are about 750 CFM per core. That's kind of a sweet spot as far as air pressure drop and as far as efficiency. So at 3,000 CFM, that means I have 4 cores. That's what the HE4 would be here. 3, it could do 3,000 CFM, but that's pushing it a little bit. And a 6 is probably overkill for you as far as cost. So let's just select a 4X inside unit, horizontal unit. Now, as far as the core designation, this is the core that they use. This is a Mitsubishi core. You can just leave that in. There's no other options you have on. At this point, if you wanted to change the winter or summer conditions, you can do that. Half-inch external static, that's a pretty good figure for most supply and exhaust applications. So if I click Save and Calculate, now what that'll do for me is it'll give me right up here the summer and winter conditions for both sensible and total. And you can see what they are right here. If you want to see what formula we used, that's right here for you. This will also give you the efficiencies and what you saved too. Here is info on loads. You can check what that is, but I think what you want to use here is what you saved in cooling for latent and sensible, and cooling total. So by using an ERB, because it is an ERB, it does both sensible and latent, you saved about 6 tons cooling in the summertime and 214,000 BTUs. So that's a good savings. Now at this point you could print that and it would just ask you what printer you're going to use. But if you want to do a little bit more, if you wanted to actually do some annual savings on this, or if you wanted to do ventilation rates, that would be up under projects. So let's go up under projects. And I've got some projects here, but I'm going to create a new project. And I'm just going to call this my training project. The other things you can put in here, project address, city, state. If you want to do the weather conditions, it's just like we did before. If you wanted to choose different ones, you can do that here, or you can just use your default data. All right, so these are my conditions here. This is my job site conditions, and all this will be printed out in your report, so you can put in as much or as little information as you'd like. I go over to units. Now, there is no unit here, so I'm going to create a new unit, because you can have several units per job. And I'm going to call it ERB1, and you can maybe call it indoor if we go with the same conditions. An area served, maybe toilets, whatever you want to do here. Now here you can see the different type of things. This is what we saw before, the ventilation airflow rate, and if we use a 3,000, 0.5 inch external, you have a choice as far as MERV 8 or MERV 13 filters. And we'll use the same exhaust airflow rate if you want to balance them off. And here's all the Chicago weather data. Again, you can change this if you like. All right, so we selected the 4 inside unit. We can do that right here, and there's a Mitsubishi Core. And this one allows you to do a few other things. You can choose your voltage right here if you want to. I'm just going to do this at 115 at single phase. So you can select your different motor sizes. If you want to do 208, you can do different voltages, 460, whatever. This is a pretty small unit. You see if I select 208, it gives me different choices for motors. So let's keep this one here. You can select with VFD, without VFDs. Let's just say I'm going to select one with the VFD, and it looks like this one is a pretty good one right here. You can add notes if you want to. And now I'm just going to save and calculate the performance. And this is a little bit different since we got motors in there now, but you can see that we're saving about 5 tons in the summertime and about 230 in the wintertime. So if I wanted to save and create a new unit, I can do that. Or if I wanted to create a ventilation schedule, I can do that from all the inputs that you put in. I create a new ventilation zone, calculate and save ventilation totals. So this is for code requirements. If you want to do annual savings, you can do that here. And this is going to ask you how many months of the year you're using it. So I'm just going to split it, heating, 6 months for heating, 6 months for cooling. And this is hours per week. That's 24/7. So I'm just going to maybe make this 84. And then here's your degree days, heating and cooling. It's going to ask you what type of fuel, because you are not going to be using, so you're going to be saving on some fuel costs. So let's just say it's natural gas, it's a boiler, maybe 80% efficient fuel costs, maybe use 85 cents a therm. The electric side, let's just say we're using 14 cents demand charges. So these are all the inputs you use on many other performance and payback calculations. So here you can see how much you're saving with Renewaire on the cooling and heating side. This is what your energy recovery BTUs are. And down here, you would enter your ERB install cost. Now, this is a fairly small unit, so let's say it's maybe $5,000. And then let's say there's no rebates. And these are the dollars that you would save now by not having to get a conventional system for the makeup air, for 100% makeup air. So let's put in 2,000 CFM. And these are the cooling, the AC costs that you'd save for the, 5 tons or so. So let's say it's maybe $4,000. All right, and of course this one, if we do the savings right away, the $2,130, right, $3,100 right there in the first year, you can see the savings are immediate. So if you want to play around with this, you can. Let's say maybe that 5 tons is a little bit much. Let's say it's $2,000. So there it's 0.4 years. So you can put in your costs as far as what the conventional systems costs that you are voiding for AC and for the makeup air. If you wanted to get some images, you can click on images and you can see what it looks like. If you want to get some reference material, you can do that too. You can see some drawings. You hear some DWG CAD drawings, wiring diagrams, bypass. They have bypass now. You can get electric duct heaters if you want to do that. You can even get guide specs in a PDF or Word format. And if you want to get a report, you can come over here. And the first thing you should do if you go through this first time is you should select your performances as far as what you want. And I always get everything. You can always delete it if you want to. And then I get a full unit report here. And here's everything that you need. You can see all your room, your entering air conditions, your outside air conditions, your supply air conditions, electric, your length and width. You would get those once you get your drawings printed out. And here I can even export it to Excel and then cut and paste and put it in my schedules. So if you want guide specs, here's your guide specs. You can put those in your master specs. And this is everything you really need to generate a selection, guide specs, a schedule, and even do a payback report. All right, I'm going to log out. If you got any questions, again, my name is David Taylor. You can contact me through your TEC rep, and we'd be happy to come in and do some individual training to your whole group. But if you got any questions, my email is david.taylor@tecmungo.com, or please see your individual rep.